The unexpected visitor. Jake rubbed his tired eyes as he hunched over his textbooks, the soft glow of his desk lamp casting long shadows across his cramped dorm room. As a junior astrophysics major, late nights poring over dense equations had become routine. But tonight felt different somehow. An inexplicable nervous energy had him on edge, as if the very air was charged with possibility. Shaking his head to clear the fog of fatigue, Jake stretched and glanced at his watch. 2:37 a.m. He should really call it a night. Just as he was about to close his books, a faint shimmer in the corner of the room caught his eye. At first, Jake thought he was hallucinating from lack of sleep, but as he squinted into the darkness, the shimmer coalesced into a vaguely humanoid shape. His breath caught in his throat as the figure stepped into the light. Standing before him was the most beautiful girl Jake had ever seen, if you could even call her a girl. Her skin had an otherworldly iridescent sheen, and her large almond-shaped eyes glowed with an inner light. Delicate antenna-like structures protruded from her forehead, twitching slightly as if tasting the air. Jake's mind reeled as he took in her appearance. This was no costume or special effect. Somehow, impossibly, an alien being was standing in his dorm room. "Please do not be afraid," the alien said, her voice a musical lilting sound. "I mean you no harm." Jake opened his mouth to respond, but no words came out. His heart pounded in his chest as adrenaline flooded his system. Fight or flight instincts warred within him, but he remained rooted to the spot, unable to look away from the mesmerizing creature before him. "My name is Zara," the alien continued. "I have traveled a great distance to make contact with your species. Will you speak with me?" Finding his voice at last, Jake managed to stammer out, I'm Jake. Are you really not from Earth?" Zara's mouth curved into a smile. "That is correct. I come from a planet orbiting a star you call Proxima Centauri. My people have been observing humanity for many years, and we believe the time has come for direct communication." Jake's scientific mind kicked into overdrive, 1,000 questions bubbling to the surface. "But that's over 4 light years away. How did you travel such a vast distance? And why choose me of all people to contact?" "The answers to your questions are complex," Zara replied. "Perhaps we could speak more comfortably." She gestured to Jake's bed. Still in a daze, Jake nodded and sat on the edge of his mattress. Zara gracefully lowered herself beside him, her movements fluid and precise. Up close, Jake could see faint patterns swirling beneath her skin, like galaxies in motion. "To address your first question," Zara began, "my people have developed technology that allows us to create localized wormholes for near-instantaneous travel across vast distances. As for why I chose you specifically, it was not entirely by chance. We have been monitoring communications from your educational institution, and your work in astrophysics caught our attention. Your theories on dark matter propulsion are quite impressive for your level of technological development." Jake's eyes widened in surprise. "You've read my research papers. I didn't think anyone paid attention to undergraduate publications." Zara's antenna twitched in what Jake interpreted as amusement. "We find human scientific endeavors fascinating. Your species has made remarkable progress in a relatively short span of time. It is one of the reasons we believe you may be ready for contact with extraterrestrial civilizations." As the initial shock began to wear off, Jake's natural curiosity took over. He peppered Zara with questions about her home world, her species' history, and the advanced technologies they possessed. Zara answered patiently, occasionally asking questions of her own about human culture and society. Hours passed in what felt like minutes. As the first rays of dawn began to creep through the window, Jake realized with a start that he had been talking with an alien all night long. "I apologize for keeping you from your rest," Zara said, noticing Jake's fatigue. "Perhaps we should continue our discussion another time. I have much more to share with you about the purpose of my visit." Jake nodded, suddenly aware of how exhausted he was. "Yeah, that's probably a good idea. This is all so overwhelming. I'm still not entirely sure I'm not dreaming." Zara reached out and gently touched Jake's hand. The contact sent a tingling sensation up his arm. I assure you, this is very real. Your life, and the lives of all humans, is about to change dramatically. Rest now. I will return tomorrow night. Before Jake could respond, Zara's form began to shimmer and fade. In the blink of an eye, she had vanished entirely, leaving Jake alone in his room once more. Collapsing back onto his bed, Jake's mind raced with everything he had learned. As sleep finally overtook him, one thought echoed in his mind: nothing would ever be the same again. Cosmic revelations. Jake spent the following day in a daze, barely able to focus on his classes. His mind kept drifting back to the incredible encounter with Zara. As night fell, anticipation built within him. Would she really return? Just as he was beginning to doubt his sanity, a familiar shimmer appeared in his room. Zara materialized, her ethereal beauty taking Jake's breath away once again. "Greetings, Jake," she said warmly. "I trust you've had time to process our previous conversation." Jake nodded, still awestruck. "I have so many more questions. But first I need to know, why me? Why Earth?" Zara's expression grew serious. "Your planet stands at a crossroads, Jake. Humanity's rapid technological advancement has caught the attention of the Galactic Council. We've been monitoring your progress, and now we face a crucial decision." "What kind of decision?" Jake asked, his heart racing. "Whether to formally invite Earth to join the interstellar community," Zara replied. "But it's not that simple. There are factions within the Council who believe humans are too volatile, too unpredictable. They fear your potential for both greatness and destruction." Jake felt a chill run down his spine. "So, what? We're being judged?" Zara nodded solemnly. "In a sense, yes. My mission is to evaluate humanity's readiness for first contact, to determine if you can handle the responsibilities that come with advanced knowledge and technology." "That's a lot of pressure," Jake muttered. "And you chose a random college student for this." Zara's antennae twitched in what Jake was beginning to recognize as amusement. "Not random at all. Your work in astrophysics shows promise. More importantly, your social media presence reveals a compassionate nature and open mind. You represent the best of human potential." Jake blushed at the compliment. "So, what happens now?" "Now," Zara said, her eyes gleaming with excitement, "I show you wonders beyond your imagination." She extended her hand, and Jake took it without hesitation. In an instant, the dorm room dissolved around them. Jake gasped as he found himself floating in what appeared to be open space, surrounded by a dazzling array of stars and nebulae. "Don't panic," Zara's voice echoed in his mind. "We're in a virtual simulation. I thought it might help you understand the scale of what we're discussing." As Jake marveled at the cosmic vista, Zara began to explain the true nature of the universe. She revealed that what humans called dark matter was actually a complex network of energy pathways connecting distant parts of the galaxy. Advanced civilizations use these pathways for near-instantaneous travel and communication. "Your theories on dark matter propulsion were remarkably close to the truth," Zara said. "With guidance, humanity could master this technology within a few generations." The simulation shifted, and Jake found himself standing on the surface of an alien world. Massive crystalline structures towered overhead, pulsing with inner light. Strange creatures soared through the sky, their bodies seeming to phase in and out of reality. "This is my homeworld," Zara explained. "We've achieved a harmony between biology and technology that allows us to shape our environment at will." As Jake tried to process the incredible sights, Zara's tone grew more serious. "But not all civilizations use their knowledge wisely. Observe." The scene changed again. This time, Jake witnessed a planet in ruins, its surface scarred by massive impact craters. The atmosphere was choked with ash and debris. "This world destroyed itself in a war fueled by ideological differences," Zara said softly. "The Galactic Council fears humanity might follow a similar path if given access to advanced technology too quickly." Jake felt a wave of determination wash over him. "We're better than that. Sure, we have our problems, but there's so much good in humanity too. We just need a chance to prove ourselves." Zara's mental voice carried a hint of approval. "That's precisely the attitude we're hoping to see. But words alone are not enough. In the coming days, you'll face challenges designed to test your species' readiness." The simulation faded, and Jake found himself back in his dorm room, his head spun with everything he'd learned. "Rest now," Zara said, placing a comforting hand on his shoulder. "Tomorrow we begin in earnest." As Zara vanished once more, Jake collapsed onto his bed. He knew sleep would be impossible. The fate of humanity rested on his shoulders, and he was determined not to let his species down. Little did he know, the true tests were about to begin, challenges that would push him to his limits and force him to confront the very essence of what it means to be human. Trials of humanity. The next few days were a whirlwind of activity for Jake. Zara's nightly visits became more intense, each one presenting a new challenge designed to test not just Jake's abilities, but humanity's potential as a whole. One evening, Jake found himself transported to a hyper-realistic simulation of a dying alien world. The atmosphere was toxic, the landscape barren. Zara's voice echoed in his mind, explaining the scenario. This planet's inhabitants ignored the warning signs of ecological collapse until it was too late. Your task is to devise a solution to save what remains of their civilization. Jake's mind raced. He drew upon his scientific knowledge, combining it with creative problem-solving. After hours of intense concentration, he proposed a bold plan involving atmospheric scrubbers, underground habitats, and genetically modified organisms to jumpstart the ecosystem's recovery. Zara's antennae quivered with approval. "Impressive. You've demonstrated both technical acumen and the ability to think beyond conventional solutions." The next trial was even more challenging. Jake was presented with a complex ethical dilemma involving two alien species locked in a centuries-old conflict. He had to negotiate a peace treaty that would satisfy both sides without compromising their core values. Drawing upon human history and his own sense of empathy, Jake worked tirelessly to find common ground between the warring factions. His innovative approach, which involved creating a shared cultural exchange program and collaborative scientific endeavors, eventually led to a breakthrough. "Your species' capacity for diplomacy and conflict resolution is noteworthy," Zara commented. "Perhaps there is hope for humanity after all." As the trials progressed, Jake found himself pushed to his mental and emotional limits. He solved mathematical equations that boggled the mind, unraveled cosmic mysteries that had puzzled alien scientists for millennia, and even experienced simulations of possible human futures, some utopian, others apocalyptic. Throughout it all, Jake's determination never wavered. He was driven by a deep-seated belief in humanity's potential for greatness. On the seventh night, Zara appeared in Jake's room with a grave expression. "You have performed admirably in all our tests, Jake, but now we face the ultimate challenge, one that will determine humanity's fate once and for all." The air shimmered, and Jake found himself standing in what appeared to be a vast, otherworldly courtroom. Towering beings of pure energy surrounded him, their forms shifting and pulsing with unimaginable power. Zara's voice resonated in his mind. "These are the cosmic arbiters, the highest authority in the Galactic Council. They will review your performance and make the final judgment on humanity's readiness for interstellar contact." Jake's heart pounded as the largest of the energy beings addressed him directly, its voice a symphony of mental impressions. "Human Jake, you stand as a representative of your species. We have observed your trials and find your potential intriguing. However, we remain concerned about humanity's volatile nature and history of conflict. Convince us why your kind deserves a place among the stars." Jake took a deep breath, gathering his thoughts. This was it, the moment that would define humanity's future. He began to speak, his voice growing stronger with each word. "Esteemed arbiters, I stand before you not just as an individual, but as a voice for all of humanity. Yes, Our history is marked by conflict and mistakes. We've stumbled, we've fallen, but we've always picked ourselves up again. Images flashed around the courtroom, scenes of human triumphs and failures, scientific breakthroughs, and devastating wars. Our capacity for destruction is matched only by our potential for creation, Jake continued. We've split the atom, but we've also used that knowledge to power our cities. We've developed weapons, but we've also created medicines that save millions of lives. The energy beings pulsed with interest as Jake pressed on. What sets us apart is our relentless drive to improve, to explore, to push beyond our limitations. We dream of a better future and work tirelessly to make it a reality. Give us a chance, and I believe humanity will surprise you. We'll bring fresh perspectives to age-old problems, innovative solutions to cosmic challenges. Jake's voice swelled with passion. We're not perfect, but we're constantly evolving. Our diversity is our strength, a tapestry of cultures, ideas, and experiences that, when woven together, create something truly remarkable. As he spoke, Jake felt a strange energy building within him. It was as if he was channeling the collective spirit of humanity itself. By inviting us into the galactic community, you're not just gaining a new ally. You're gaining dreamers, innovators, and explorers. You're gaining billions of unique perspectives, each with the potential to contribute something extraordinary to the cosmos. The courtroom fell silent as Jake concluded his impassioned plea. The cosmic arbiters communed among themselves, their energy forms swirling in complex patterns. Finally, the lead arbiter addressed Jake once more. Your words carry weight, human Jake. We sense the truth in them, and the potential they represent. However, Jake held his breath, waiting for the final verdict that would determine humanity's cosmic destiny. The cosmic crucible. However, the lead arbiter continued, its energy form pulsating with an intensity that made Jake's skin tingle. Words alone are not enough. We require proof, a demonstration of humanity's true potential. The courtroom dissolved around Jake, replaced by a vast, star-studded void. He found himself floating in space, protected by some invisible force field. Zara appeared beside him, her expression a mix of concern and anticipation. This is the cosmic crucible, she explained, her voice echoing in Jake's mind. A final test designed to push you, and by extension humanity, to its absolute limits. Before Jake could respond, a blinding light erupted in the distance. A massive star was going supernova, its explosive force hurtling towards them at incomprehensible speed. Your task, the arbiter's voice boomed, is to save a nearby planet from destruction. This world is home to a pre-spaceflight civilization, unaware of the cosmic danger they face. You have 1 Earth hour to devise and implement a solution. The fate of 2 species now rests in your hands. Jake's mind reeled at the impossibility of the task. How could he, a mere college student, prevent a supernova from destroying an entire planet? But as panic threatened to overwhelm him, Jake took a deep breath. He thought of all the challenges humanity had overcome throughout history, from harnessing fire to landing on the moon. If his ancestors could achieve the impossible, so could he. I'll need data, Jake said, his voice steady despite his racing heart. Everything you have on the planet's composition, the supernova's trajectory, and any nearby cosmic phenomena. Zara nodded, and suddenly Jake's mind was flooded with information. It was overwhelming at first, but he forced himself to focus, to process the data streaming through his consciousness. As the minutes ticked by, Jake's thoughts raced at lightning speed. He combined his knowledge of astrophysics with the advanced concepts he'd learned during Zara's trials. Quantum mechanics, dark matter manipulation, gravitational lensing, all became tools in his mental workshop. Suddenly, an idea sparked. It was audacious, borderline insane, but it just might work. We can't stop the supernova, Jake announced, but we can redirect its energy. If we create a massive gravitational lens using dark matter, we can focus the blast around the planet instead of into it. The Arbiter's energy forms flickered with interest as Jake outlined his plan. It involved precise calculations, split-second timing, and technology far beyond current human capabilities. But the principles were sound. Ambitious, Zara commented. But how will you implement this plan? You don't have the technology. Jake grinned, a surge of confidence flowing through him. No, but you do. And isn't that the point of joining a galactic community? Cooperation, working together to achieve the impossible. There was a moment of silence, then a ripple of what felt like approval from the Arbiters. Very well, the lead Arbiter declared. We will provide the means. The execution remains in your hands. What followed was the most intense 45 minutes of Jake's life. He directed the construction of a colossal dark matter array, his mind interfacing directly with alien technology. His calculations had to be perfect. The slightest error would doom an entire civilization. As the supernova's shockwave approached, Jake made his final adjustments. The dark matter lens sprang to life, bending space itself around the endangered planet. Time seemed to stand still as the cosmic forces clashed. Jake watched, heart in his throat, as the supernova's energy flowed around the protected world like water around a rock. When it was over, Jake could hardly believe his eyes. The planet was safe, its inhabitants blissfully unaware of how close they had come to annihilation. Exhausted but exhilarated, Jake turned to face the Arbiters. Their energy forms pulsed with an intensity he hadn't seen before. Remarkable, the lead Arbiter's voice resonated. You have demonstrated not only intelligence and creativity, but also compassion, resourcefulness, and an ability to unite diverse forces towards a common goal. Zara stepped forward, her eyes shining with pride. These are the qualities that make humanity unique. Their potential is limitless if given the chance to flourish. The Arbiters conferred silently for what felt like an eternity. Finally, the lead Arbiter spoke again. Jacob Matthews, representative of Earth, we have reached our decision. Humanity has proven itself worthy of joining the galactic community. The age of isolation for your species is over. Joy and disbelief washed over Jake in equal measure. He had done it. Humanity would take its place among the stars. But as the implications of this monumental change began to sink in, Jake realized that the greatest challenges and adventures still lay ahead. The cosmos was calling, and humanity was ready to answer. Dawn of a new era. The return to Earth was a blur for Jake. One moment he was floating in the cosmic courtroom, the next he found himself back in his dorm room, head spinning with the weight of what had just transpired. Zara stood beside him, her iridescent form seeming to pulse with excitement. It is done, she said, her melodic voice filled with warmth. Your species stands on the brink of a new age, but the real work begins now. Jake sank onto his bed, overwhelmed. What happens next? Do we just announce to the world that aliens exist and we're joining some galactic federation? Zara's antennae twitched in amusement. Not quite so abruptly. We must proceed with caution to avoid global panic. You, Jake, will play a crucial role in this transition. Over the next few weeks, Jake's life transformed into a whirlwind of secret meetings and preparations. He was introduced to a covert international task force comprised of top scientists, diplomats, and world leaders who had been quietly preparing for the possibility of alien contact for years. Jake's role was unique. As a human who had directly interfaced with alien technology and proven humanity's worth, he became the bridge between Earth and the galactic community. His astrophysics knowledge, combined with the cosmic insights he'd gained, made him an invaluable asset in translating advanced alien concepts into terms humanity could understand and implement. The day of the announcement arrived sooner than anyone expected. Jake stood backstage at the United Nations, heart pounding as he prepared to address the world alongside a panel of global leaders. Zara, now visible to all, would make her public debut as humanity's alien ambassador. As Jake stepped onto the stage, facing a sea of cameras and astonished faces, he felt the weight of history on his shoulders. But there was also an incredible sense of hope and possibility. "People of Earth," he began, his voice steady despite his nerves, "today marks the dawn of a new era for our species. We are not alone in the universe, and we have been given an extraordinary opportunity." The worldwide reaction was predictably chaotic. Scenes of celebration, confusion, and fear played out across the globe. But as the initial shock wore off, a new sentiment began to emerge: unity. For the first time in history, humanity had a common purpose that transcended national borders and ideological differences. In the months that followed, Jake found himself at the forefront of Earth's transformation. He worked tirelessly with international teams to adapt alien technologies for human use. Clean energy solutions eliminated the need for fossil fuels almost overnight. Medical breakthroughs cured diseases that had plagued humanity for centuries. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. Jake also had to navigate complex political waters, mediating disputes between nations vying for access to alien tech. He faced opposition from those who feared change or saw the aliens as a threat. There were even attempts on his life by extremist groups who viewed him as a traitor to humanity. Through it all, Zara remained by his side, offering guidance and support. Their relationship deepened, transcending the boundaries between their species. They became symbols of the potential for harmony between Earth and the wider galactic community. 1 year after the announcement, Jake stood on the launch pad of humanity's first faster-than-light spacecraft. The vessel, named HFY, represented the culmination of human ingenuity and alien cooperation. As Earth's official ambassador, Jake would lead the maiden voyage to the Galactic Council's headquarters. As the countdown began, Jake thought back to that fateful night when a shimmering alien girl had appeared in his dorm room. How far they had come since then, how far they still had to go. The engines rolled to life, and Jake felt a thrill of excitement course through him. As Earthrise broke free of Earth's atmosphere, he gazed out at the star-studded expanse before them. Zara stood at his side, her hand intertwined with his. "Ready for the greatest adventure of all?" she asked, her eyes twinkling with starlight. Jake nodded, a smile spreading across his face. "Ready as we'll ever be. Let's show the universe what humanity can do." As Earthrise engaged its warp drive, propelling them towards humanity's cosmic destiny, Jake knew that this was just the beginning. Challenges lay ahead: cultural misunderstandings to navigate, galactic politics to learn, and the vastness of space itself to explore. But he had faith in humanity's ability to adapt, to grow, to reach for the stars both literally and figuratively. The alien girl who came into his room that night hadn't just changed his life. She had opened the door to humanity's next great leap forward, and as Earth faded into the distance behind them, Jake felt a profound sense of gratitude and purpose. Whatever the cosmos had in store, humanity would face it together, as newest members of the grand tapestry of galactic civilization. The universe awaited, and Earth was finally ready to take its place among the stars.